In the late 19th century, the United States was grappling with the issue of racial segregation. The Plessy v. Ferguson case, which reached the Supreme Court in 1896, would ultimately leave a lasting impact on the nation's history. The case centered around a Louisiana law that required racial segregation on trains, and it became the catalyst for the legitimization of the separate but equal doctrine. The story of Plessy v. Ferguson began when Homer Plessy, a man of mixed race, intentionally violated the Louisiana law by sitting in a whites-only railroad car. Plessy, who appeared white, believed that the law was unconstitutional and aimed to challenge it. His act of civil disobedience led to his arrest and imprisonment, setting the stage for a legal battle that would shape the future of racial equality in the United States. The case eventually made its way to the Supreme Court, where the justices had to determine the constitutionality of the Louisiana law. The court's decision would have far-reaching consequences and establish a legal precedent for racial segregation. In a landmark ruling, the court upheld the constitutionality of racial segregation under the doctrine of separate but equal. This doctrine declared that as long as separate facilities for different races were provided, even if they were not truly equal, it did not violate the Constitution. The majority opinion, written by Justice Henry Billings Brown, stated that separate but equal did not infringe upon the rights of African Americans as long as the accommodations were equal. This decision effectively allowed for the continuation of racial segregation in various aspects of public life, including transportation, education, and public facilities. The ruling had a profound impact on the lives of African Americans, perpetuating systemic discrimination and cementing the notion of racial inferiority. While the separate but equal doctrine had been established, it became clear over time that the equal part was often neglected. Facilities designated for African Americans were frequently substandard, lacking in resources and funding compared to those for white individuals. This disparity further enforced the systemic racism that was deeply embedded in American society. The legal precedent set by Plessy v. Ferguson endured for several decades until it was eventually overturned by the Supreme Court's ruling in Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. The Brown v. Board of Education decision declared that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional, effectively dismantling the separate but equal doctrine and marking a turning point in the fight for civil rights. The Plessy v. Ferguson decision stands as a stark reminder of the struggles faced by African Americans in their fight for equality. It serves as a testament to the perseverance of individuals like Homer Plessy, who refused to accept the injustices imposed upon them. The case also highlights the power of the Supreme Court to shape the course of history through its rulings, sometimes with profound consequences.